Well, good morning, good morning, good morning to you. Good morning to everyone that has tapped in on the cost of freedom. And this morning we will be talking to Mr. AJ Harper. And it is without words that I can say it is honorable to be have watched his journey just from 2020 and what he is doing within the community. Officially, when I remember setting eyes on you, I think I was running for city council or I was already out in the community um, being an activist, right? Already out
Right,
speaking
right.
up to change. And so, one of the things we spoke a lot on coming through 2020 and 2021 was the infrastructure of our city, and how important it is to give our young people the opportunity to see life thriving, to see something differently. And so, you all, I just said that I'm here in this space with Mr. AJ Hopper, the hop to the construction and remodeling service man. It is. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, a little bit about me is, I grew up, I had a best friend named Aramis. His mother, Miss Cookie Neal, she had a construction company. So I went and worked for her. I kind of didn't like it, She started me out real, I felt it was kind of low as a laborer, So I just paid attention, I paid attention. I've always been a leader to where I like to pay attention to people in the lead positions. It ended up coming down to I was working down in Overland Park, Kansas at Bedrock. We had got laid off during the winter season and coronavirus had hit. So I said, hey, I'm going to try to start my own business. I said, I'm tired of really working for people. I want to take that step. So I took the first step. I was with my son, Keontae, and we went out and had a driveway job. I mean, we tore it out manually, and we got the tearing the driveway out with just a jackhammer and one little trailer. I mean, we started hauling that stuff off. I mean, we came up from the bottom. I mean, every job that I did, I mean, paid for my next job, paid for my next piece of equipment, So I came, like they say, I kind of got it out the mud, I kind of started low, but I had a lot of bumps and scrapes along the way throughout my life. So it really helped me take initiative. They say the best approach, is kind of just experience. It's not what you go through, it's what you grow through. So I was able to capitalize off of that. You know what I mean? And I was able to look. I mean, I've been on both sides of the line. I know a lot of people. We got a lot of people that's gospel. That's within the church. There's nothing wrong with that, but I feel like to reach the youth, you got to have an individual that's been over on the other side, that's seen the different things in life. You know what I mean? And I'm able to go out and talk to those people and tell them, man, there's hope. I started from nothing. I started taking a couple wrong turns myself, and I just took that initiative to go back and give back to my community. I mean, I was in a networking group called BNI. I'm not gonna say nothing. I'm just gonna say I was the only African American that was in that group. So I was sitting there and I was looking at how they were, laying down their strategies, their networking, and I loved it because it gave me just a different approach. And I said, hey, I'm gonna take this to my community. I'm gonna give to my community. So when I'm in my community, hey, I give nice prices. I give prices that you can't beat, and I'm very aggressive on attacking the concrete and attacking different things that I do. And I feel like one thing about it is I want these young men to know, you don't have to have a jump shot. You don't have to be able to throw a football. You might not make it. You don't have to be a drug dealer. They're lying to you. You know what I mean? All these street guys, they're lying to you. These rap songs, they're lying to you. That's not the route that you have to take through peer pressure. You know what I mean? You can get a trade. You can feed your family. You can take care of anything you want to take care of. The sky's the limit, like Biggie Small said, So the thing about life is you really have to struggle in order to have growth.
Mm.
Without struggle there is no growth. So I try to stay positively, directed. I mean, and don't get me wrong. I mean, I have problems, within my life, but through the Lord, I'm able to keep going and struggling and striving and, keep punching it out. But my willpower is just so strong, because as a black contractor here in Topeka, Kansas, whether people want to admit it or not, you're going to be looked at in a different retrospect at times. Not saying that everybody does it, but you might not get a fair shake. Just like being a new guy on the market, you might not get concrete at this certain time that you want to order it. You might be shorthanded, so you got to double put in the effort and double work. I want to give much props to Mr. John Love, Reverend Kurt Dahl, Mr. Harris with Harris and Sons Construction. These brothers here is pioneering the way. I mean, they'll come out and any questions that I have, I mean, they're here, helping me. Sometimes Rev will get frustrated with me, but I take it all and struggle and strive, man. I got a good support system. I just want my kids to see the change. It starts at home, and then, like they say, it takes community to raise a village. So that's my main focus here is to give back to my community. We're doing a basketball court tomorrow off of 12th in Washington. We're just doing that just on charity, like they say, on GP. We're giving back, man. I want these kids to have that opportunity to see and create some workshops and just give them a different vision out here, man. You don't have to live, you don't have to be the next YFN Lucci. You don't have to be the next Michael Jordan. My heroes is my grandfather and my father. I mean, that's my heroes. I grew up with a good father, Mr. William Hopper. My mom, Miss Lillian Hopper. They stayed on me. I was rebellious. You know what I mean? I was one of the black sheep, one of the rebels, like the prodigal son. They raised me up right. I lost my way, but as the Bible say, you will always find your way back home. You know what I mean? And my dad's always kept them doors open. So with my children, we get back, we bitter, we fuss and fight, but like my dad said, I'm still daddy. That's D to the double A D Y. So I try to keep that, sternness within them. My sons, when they come up here with me, hey, we're going to work, man. I want to know what you're doing. I want to know how your family's doing. I want to know how you're doing. It's important for us to ask these questions because these are the questions that we need to get prepared for them. You're a young brother in society today. No one's going to give anything to you for free. You have to work for it and just working. I mean, like I said, I can't emphasize strong enough about brothers getting a trade out here. I can't emphasize enough about this system that we have, the federal system in place, the gun laws, the different things that's devices to take our community down. I mean, we have to do something about this. I mean, like I deal with realtors all the time. I mean, it's blatantly in your face. This side of town over here is worth such and such amount of money. Our side of town over here, the property value is going down consistently. We're not policing our own community. We're not cleaning up our own community. All of these grants, all of these things, like Miss Glenda Washington, lovely lady, beautiful lady over there at the Topeka, Go Topeka Innovation Center over there. There's so many incentives that you can get to start up and get your thing going. You just have to find what lane that you want to get into, and that's a major thing. But we need to bring the value of our community up. We need to bring the respect of our people up. We need to bring the teachings of our children back up. If you're in the church, don't look down. Jesus was here to sit with the sinners, the prostitutes, the thugs, the killers. Let's be honest about that. You have to have, like I called it myself, a gospel sniper. And I'm a gospel sniper. I'm going to go out and give to everybody.
I love the way you, first off, you full of it. You know what I'm saying? Like when we go out and you're looking at people who don't believe and don't see who they are, but you're full of it and you full of it, right? People want to compare and think when you say the words you're full of it, they're comparing it to being full of nothingness, but you're full of substance and you're willing to pour out upon the community. And so one of the questions I want to bring to you is when we think about the aspects and we go back, right, and we understand we have to learn from the past, we have to learn from our ancestors, learn from the journey that they took. And I'm centering this around the Juneteenth celebration, right? The cost of freedom and how they came and they read the Emancipation Proclamation and they're there and they're doing this reading and in the presence of some of the people and unknown and not in the presence of others, right? And so they're doing this reading, and as they do the reading, they talk about this freedom that they have not yet understood yet, right? And so when we're talking about a journey for generations that is continuing to impact our communities, impact our families, um from the pain. We all know the lack of understanding, right? If you our people perish for lack of understanding. That's why they're perishing. And so to be free, to be giving me the label of the words of being free, and not me have understood what struggle looked like as I walk into that freedom, that's two different things, right? You gave a word. Now I have to obtain this thing in my mind, obtain this thing through my actions, and the journey is supposed to begin. And so right now you called out something here in the city of Topeka and in so many other cities where you see this divide, you see this social growth, this that's coming from when you look at infrastructure, that's coming from when you're looking at houses, that's coming from when you're looking at business, that's coming from when you're looking at generational wealth. And so as a black bodied male who sits in front of me, who's already horned in on, I got to teach my sons this. I got to teach my sons how to go out and do the work to make the money. I got to teach my sons how to tap in to what we're great at. This is our bloodline. Pops has been doing this. I got to teach my sons to turn the struggle in, right? Turn the struggle into progress. That they may lay me off, but just because I'm laid off, don't mean I'm soft. Don't mean I'm gonna stop. Don't mean I'm gonna hold back. I'm gonna work what I got. And if I only got one jackhammer to go get in there and dig in there to clear out that old mindset, to clear out that old tore down infrastructure and begin to relay something new. Hold on. It's not that I gotta wait till I'm a multi-millionaire before I begin to pour out into the community and give back. I'm gonna do it now while I'm on my way up, because if I do it now, it's gonna allow people to pour into me, because as I pour out, I'm being poured into, and people are seeing and favoring what I do. And so, I just threw all you up in there. I'm just throwing it all up in there.
Right.
Then you came and I love it that you said the same stuff that I'm using right now, the same skills, the same personality traits that I'm using right now were the same traits that I was using when I was out in the streets and I was fighting, when I was out in the streets, right? And I was rebelling. I'm still rebelling. I mean, my mentor, Jesus Christ, he was a rebel. He
Yeah.
went into places that others didn't want to go through. And
Yeah.
so I just want to shake that on this journey. Just give us like 3 pointers of like some things that you see that we need to do to change how we move in our communities, to change how we move in our families, to change how we move in our businesses so that we can break up the mindset and understanding that there's responsibility with freedom. Understanding that there's responsibility with freedom, and we got to step forward. So give us 3.
The first thing that I would love to give our community is this, man. The backbiting within the community. Don't judge the fellow brother. Like you said about Jesus, he was a rebel. Look at Moses. Moses would have been a felon. I mean, he killed a citron. So Moses was one of the greatest people that had a struggle within the Bible. That came into the Lord, that kicked a lot of the stuff off. You know what I mean? So let's accept one another. Let's forgive one another. Let's love one another. Hope, faith, and love. They say those are one of the greatest 3 things. That's what I would give our community: faith, hope, and love. We got to have this, and it's got to be shown, because we can't just say we're walking by our Jesus walk, as Jesus walked. No, no. Jesus, you have to understand, he wasn't accepted in his community. You might not be accepted in your community, but that doesn't mean don't show love. You got a lot of these mass killings and shootings going on. Man, when you see somebody, just say hello, hi, thank you, how are you doing? Man, see how a person's mental's doing. I might have some problems at home. I go out to work one day frustrated. My coworkers might have it. Man, see how he's doing. You know what I mean? Give a pickup. And the last thing that I want to give: education. Education. Read, investigate, study. You got this wonderful phone in your hands now that us as elders or us as middle-aged people, man, we didn't have a phone. We didn't know what's GPS direction to take. Our parents had to read maps to get to where we went to. You can look on Google. You can Google anything. You can YouTube anything. It's unstoppable now, the education that you can get now. I mean, keep that. Don't just be on here on Instagram and Facebook. Use these tools to market yourself, marketing and advertisement, and keep dreaming. That's what I got.
And I thank you for joining me on today and being willing to land a ship. We know that ships do not fly. And that's the thing. It's time that we get uncomfortable doing the same things. It's time that we understand that our differences make the difference. That's what's going to set you apart from others. And so be willing to use what you have and step forward toward what you're called to and not what others do. This is your season for growth and change. You have been given a freedom. Get responsible for the freedom you have been given. We thank you for joining us on The Cost of Freedom with Dr. Regina Platt and AJ Hopper, the healer of communities.